on our John Deere 1640, as you know from the introduction, when I bought the tractor, it was in a heap of pieces. So we have, this was how it was. We have a PTO clutch pack over here, and that has a series of fibre and steel plates in it that are locked up by hydraulic pressure that comes in between these two rings here and down through an oil supply port. And so the tractor had, I think the main problem why it was pulled apart was all the linings had come off the PTO clutch plate. But in this is just out of the box. I haven't done anything with these parts, and you can see we have a spring here with a coil spring, and the coil spring holds the clutch pack in, or holds tension against the piston to release the PTO pack. And then when the pressure comes on with the oil behind the piston here, which is a light piece you can see just there, that comes up and locks your clutch pack in. So this, look, got leaves and rubbish in there still. This is just how it was. And so to get this clutch apart, you need to compress this spring here, undo the snap ring, and pull the clutch out. And you pull the spring out and you bang this on a piece of wood. But for those of you that don't have presses and all the flash gear, that doesn't stop you doing your own job. Now, this pack here, this is how it was. This is the high-low clutch. And then when you pull the lever on your high-low, it actually puts oil into clutch packs, and one of them will lock up and one of them will, the brake will lock up and things like that. So with a planetary you have to fix one part, but that's not what this is all about. This here has a couple of Belleville springs. Now Belleville springs are springs that are shaped like cones, and they get their spring tension from putting the two small surfaces next to each other, which we'll explain a bit later. But to get this one off, we have to compress this Belleville spring here, undo the snap ring, pull the springs out, and once more bump the piston out. I don't blow the pistons out, it just gets a bit dangerous. And this housing here, this is the high-low brake. Now, this was all pulled apart, and the high-low clutch pack sits down in here, and the clutch or the planetary system bolts onto the front here. So this is just the hydraulic section, but we will cover in detail doing the high-low clutch packs and the brake pack and all that. But this video is about making a tool to get all this apart and to help you out with it. And I had a tool, well, John Deere's were my bread and butter for many years, and I had a homemade tool, and we could go out, split a tractor in the bush, in the woods, bush. We call it bush in Australia. Everyone else calls it forest or woods apparently. But anyway, on the farm, and I could take all the parts for one of these high-lows, the PTO packs, the whole lot with me. I could split the tractor in the morning. I could pop through the clutch packs on farm without having to, the farmer going to extra expense of bringing the tractor back into a shop and to have it done. And by that afternoon I could leave the farmer with new piston rings in his high-lows and things like that, and he would be right to go. So he'd only lose one day's work if all was well and we didn't find anything major. Now I'll just slide these out of the way a bit. Now, I had a business for many years, and my workers, one of my workers come and saw me one time and said, look, I've always wanted my own business. Yeah, doing mechanic, and he was my main field service bloke. So I said, look, don't go in opposition to me. He's only a young man, mid-30s with a young family. I said, I'll sell you mine. My business, I'd been doing it for 30 odd years then, 35 years I think it was. And so he said, look, I haven't got enough money for that, I'm just paying off my house. And I said, no worries, I'll lend you the money. So I did that, but in the course of that I sold a lot of my favourite tools. So I had tools made up for getting these apart out on farm, like I said. So I've just made one for myself again, and I thought it may be of interest to you. If you want to do this at home, now this will fit. This is just John Deere here, but once you have one of these tools made, the same principle works on Ford New Holland clutch packs. Oh look, I've used them on backhoes. I've used them on many things. So I'll just run you through it slowly, and we're not going to pull clutch packs apart with it just now. I'm just showing you how to make it. If you think you have a problem with your high-low coming up, or your PTO pack or anything like that, make yourself one of these tools. Now, this is a 40 series, 1640, but these tools work in the 30 series tractors and the 50 series, the 26, 28, 50s, 55s, things like that. So first up, I'll explain how it works a little bit. This is just a little bit of 3/8 square, nothing special about it. I just welded a U shape to it. Now, the thing with the U shape is that it just comes in and sits on the spring there. So when we put a washer behind here, and now you can have a round washer like I have, or you can have a bit of flat steel with a hole in it. It just doesn't matter. You just need something at the back here. So the idea of the tool in this instance is it comes down, you hold it against the spring. I think you can see that okay. You pop the washer on. Now I've got a nut with a handle on it, and look, I've just finished making this and I run out of MIG gas, so it looks like the chooks flew into the workshop and shit on me wheels. But anyway, look, I kept going. I thought, bugger it, I'm not going to go to town now. So look, the idea with these clutch packs is you just take the tension up at the back here, try and keep it central down this side here, and you're just looking to have a nice straight pull. It's usually a bit easier when you haven't got a camera in the way. And so that's just taking the tension up. And now if I just turn that by hand, no effort there at all. You can see now, can you see now? Yes you can, down there. You can see this snap ring would be able to be taken off. And look, just to prove a point, I will take it off. So we've compressed, I need to go a little bit further. So we've compressed the spring enough that it's taken the pressure off this snap ring. So we can undo the snap ring here, pop it out over the clutch pack, and then we can release all this. So I suppose we'll do it now we're here. I wasn't going to do this, but anyway. So at this stage, oh sorry, I need to keep undoing, not doing up. Well, it's hard to get good help, isn't it? So as we undo it, you can feel the spring tension here. Now, sometimes they want to get stuck in the groove. So we just wind that off until the spring tension's gone. And there we go. So that explains how the tool works roughly, so you can get an idea. Now if you do have a press, you can just make something like this and press down from the top, but the threaded rod here is, well, you've seen how it works, it's just a means of pulling. Now this is just 3/8 bar, this can be 3/8 round, it can be, it can be whatever you'd like it to be really, whatever you have. I didn't buy anything to make this, I used everything that was laying around. So if you want to get if you'd like to get a bit organised, the outside to outside on this one, might be better that way, Lance, is about 3 7/16, just under 3.5 inch, or in kilometres an hour, that's about 87. So that's 87 outside to outside, inside to inside. Look, about 70 roughly, and about 2 11/16, something like that. So this can then be, if you make yourself something like this, this also works on these Belleville springs. So with this, I suppose I'll show you how it works. And this piece of flat, that's just to show that a piece of flat will do the exact same job. And maybe just I welded this onto the corner of the nut so I could still get a spanner there if I ever got anything firm. So on this type of clutch pack, it's all about just getting it in the centre if you can. And then as we wind it in, you can see the tension comes off that snap ring there, this fella. Get yourself some good snap ring pliers too if you have an opportunity to. So there's the snap ring. We've taken pressure off these Belleville washers, which are the springs in this instance. So now I should be able to, oh come on man, I'm out the side here and sometimes it doesn't go for good filming. Back up there out of the way, I could just give that a spin. So that plate, it just backs up here, so this washer would have done the same. So you just need something to support the nut at the back here. So these are Belleville springs, so you'll see there's a dish in them. So the outer edges go together and the inner edges go together, then that stack height there, that puts a tension on your clutch pack. So that one's apart. So now this piece of threaded bar here, mine's 5/8 UNC. Why is it 5/8 UNC? That's what I had laying around. My one that I had for many years, and look, I used the one tool for around 25 years. It was pretty well the same up here, but I had a bit of 3/8 rod down there. So 3/8 threaded bar, so we could just run it down. So the size of that, probably, anything from 5/16 onwards it'd be okay. The nut, I've used a 5/8 UNC nut. Once again, it's what I had. And this is this was an offcut. Once again, it was what was sitting next to the bandsaw. My old one was a bit of 3/8 there as well. So this is a bit heavier than my old one. Now the piece of threaded rod that works is around 8 inches long, 200 millimeters, give or take. I probably wouldn't go any shorter. You could probably go to 9 or 10 inches in case you had bigger clutch packs to do. So another thing you need, now this is, all this here, that and that's for a lot of different clutch packs. And as I said, Massey Ferguson, John Deere and all that, it works on the lot. There is another thought with these, and if you look at John Deere, have a tool very similar, and it's just got a piece of 1/2 inch bar here, and it has two lots of, like a concave plate with a square hole, and you can open it up for big clutch packs and put him down for small. But look, I found this did most things. Now, to do the PTO brake housing here, now these are Belleville springs, the same as in the high-low clutch pack over here, but of course there's far bigger diameter, so when you go to put this in there to do that, it just doesn't work. So what I've got is a disc I made for it. Now, how that works is the disc goes on and that goes down in, and comes out the back. Now in this instance, that's too small, which is no problem. That's what the little bit of flat's for. So, look, if you just want a piece of flat, and look, this is just a piece of scrap from the local laser cutter. So he must have been cutting out something for someone, and this was just in his scrap. You pay him a couple of bob and a couple of dollars and you find what you need. So this plate here, even though mine is round because I went through, once again, some of the scrap I'd picked up from the laser bloke, and he had a couple of round circles there. I have a lathe, so I went and trimmed it down a bit, and I've put a, can you see that? Yeah, I've put a chamfered edge on it, and the chamfered edge is for when you're compressing these fellas, and look, it works the same. You just do the nut up and it just compresses it enough, and there's a stepped circlip or a stepped snap ring, and once that snap ring fits into the groove, this goes on that way, and once that, you put the snap ring in, and then you let the tension back off again, and I'll have to have a look and make sure I've got this small enough. I haven't used this yet. I've just finished making it. Thought I'd do a quick video. So once you have all the springs compressed, this big snap ring here goes in, and then with your tool here, you let the tension off. So look, on mine here, I need to make that a little smaller. I was just working on the size of the spring. So to get it out properly, we need to make this 7 1/4 inches or 185 millimeters. And at 185 millimeters, that just you compress the spring, you put the snap ring in, and you let the pressure away again. Now I'm going to have to go and chuck this in the lathe and make it a little smaller. I only took one of these springs up with me and made it smaller than the spring. So I do need to address this one now. And that's 10 minutes on the lathe. But this is a big round circle. Now, my old one wasn't a full complete circle. Now, it was just a big hunk of flat, and like it was probably 2 inches wide, so it was, 4 inches wide, 100 millimeters, and it was just like that, and it was a piece of flat with a hole in the centre, and I just radiused the edges on the grinder. So anyway, look, this little video was just about making that tool. And so this disc, we need it to be 7 1/4 inches, or what did we work it out before? About 185 millimeters. That's not very clear, Lance. Bloody hard to get good help. So I do need to come and take a little bit off mine. I'm a little bit big to come out. I can compress the clutch pack, but I can't come out under that circlip. So that's the deal, come under the circlip. So the whole little kit that will get you through all the John Deere all the Mannheim tractors anyway, all the clutch packs could consist of a plate here, and this is only for the 40-50 series high-low brakes. The 30 series, like the 3130, 2130, they have a different setup. You don't need this plate. With them, you would get by with those three items, or these three items, something like that. So look, that was this whole little video was just to, if you're going to follow along the restoration, or you're going to use my video as a means to doing your own repairs at home, and look, that's what it's all about. You know, get in and have a go. It's very satisfying fixing your own thing. And make yourself a little clutch pack tool, and you'll find any other packs you do on backhoes and things like that, this will suit an awful lot of them. Okay, that's it. Go and make yourself a tool. I'll go and fix the diameter on this, so when we actually do the videos on overhauling the high-low brakes and all that sort of thing, it'll be a better tool than it is now, and we'll go from there. Well, you know I couldn't just leave the video there with my plate not fitting, don't you? So what I did, I went up and I removed some metal off the plate, and it has to be small enough that when you lock this snap ring in here, the retaining ring for your Belleville springs, where are we? That there's enough room to get it out nice and clearly. And what happens is the groove, you can see the bottom of this spring here is sitting down. Now as we let it off, that will go up, and it retains itself in this shoulder here. So the Belleville spring goes up and locks in there. So not only does it lock the Belleville spring central, it also locks this pin, or this snap ring, from coming out. So when you're making the plate, make sure it's small enough to come out. Now I've just used the plate across the back there. It is quite firm with my 5/8 UNC thread. Perhaps a fine thread would have been better, but anyway, that's fine. So now you can see my plate comes out of the centre there nice and easily with the circlip in. We don't really want the circlip in. Let's pull it out again. So we just centralise that, get him in the middle, just so we've got even pressure. Whoops. Even pressure on the spring, so we're not compressing one side more than the other. I took this disc down a little more than I probably said I would. So it gets it's got a bit of tension on there. And that's why it's good to get a spanner on. You've got another option. So to pull that snap ring out once more, there it is. Back the tool off. And once we get to there where we can start tearing apart the high-low brake. So that's the plate. The final measurement I ended up doing for that is about 181, 182 millimetres in there. It could have gone to 185 and still worked. And my final measurement here is let's call it 7 1/8. So, but that could have gone up to 7 1/4 quite easily. So there you go. I I thought I'd better do the job properly instead of leaving you half-assed and not seeing how it worked properly in the brake high-low brake pack here. So there you go. That's all. Catch you later on, eh?